Wassail Beautiful People, it's Rune Day. Yep. So, I sat down to do the reading over there. I've moved to over here, partly because the sun went in, but also one of my spirit animals, the fly, was going backwards and forwards around my head and trying to get in my ears. So I've had to put my hair down to try and keep the fly away, because it was driving me mad. But it's kind of slightly symbolic of the notion that spirit's with us already. But also it's like I'm doing the full Odin, but I'm using two eyes for the moment. So let's just get into this and explain the fun. So to begin with, oh, that's the wrong deck. I'm researching a Norse Tarot Oracle deck of 104 cards, and I have, with these wonderful blank index cards, I've been filling in notions. I have names of magical beings, giants, the Valkyrie, to go with it. But part of it was also to understand the runes a little better. And so I've been looking at the runes, and they're difficult runes in that, I don't mean they're difficult to learn, but they're difficult because there's not enough of them. You know, in a tarot deck there's 78 cards, so you get messages and then you have the chance of reversals. But in runes there's just originally 24, and it's just not in depth enough. So I set about searching around the internet to learn all the different, as I said yesterday, all the different places where the runic alphabet was used, and I've managed to get it up to 78. So I've kind of been building the deck with each of the runes on and simple English descriptions, and then the old names as well. So like this one, for instance, came through to me as waterfall. It's to do with self-love manifesting, and I'm trying to stick with the actual consonant or vowel that the letter represents, and then find the Old English or the Anglo-Saxon or the Frisian words that best link us to the original energy frequency of the sound. So, and then I write notes on the back. So I thought today, in this little short video, I'd try and explain how I'm doing this, because it's fun. And I've I've written to Cindy, Rob and Reem, and they're helping me as well to intue what they see in the cards. And it was fascinating. There was one of the symbols, let me see if I can just find it. Oh, this one. It's a symbol of mirrored souls, and I was talking to Cindy about it, and she immediately said sad fish. And there were three of them that came in a group. I don't know if I've got all three of them to hand. No, it doesn't look like I have. So I can't show you the other one. But there's three in a row. And as I put them together as I was instructed to, and I channeled the information for them, eventually I discovered that one of them was from... it was discovered on a thing called Frank's Casket. And they don't know anything about it. It's just a rune that appears there. They have no truth about it, but part of the translation of other areas on this casket was to do with a fish, a giant fish like a whale, that gets blown out of the sea in a storm and lands on a cliff, and how sad the fish is as it swims about on the shingle because it's no longer in the water. So this intuitive sad fish that Cindy instantly picked up on turned out to have true runic roots. So we're all going to work on it together to bring you a really beautiful deck of 78, just like the tarot, and we're going to assign a rune to each tarot, so that as you learn to read the runes, if you're not sure of the rune, the tarot parallel will help you to understand. So somewhere here, hopefully, I did pull them out, and then I just pressed play on the machine, and I'm off, and I'm like, what have I done? What have I done with the ones I wanted to talk about to show you something? So just bear with me. 78 cards here. And I drew out two to use for this area. So I need to re-find them. which is a waste of really good upload time because the speed here is very slow, but that's great. It just means I'm going to do shorter videos and you'll all be glad of that, really. So I need to find Logia. Where has Logia gone? I haven't tucked it in here in preparation. Yes, I have, see. So this is one of the original Elder Thoth, which is the name of the alphabet, because the beginning letters as they're laid out are F and U, TH. So that's how the alphabet's named. And this is called Logu or Logir, which is what I like to say, or Lagaz is often said. And it's water, it's a lagoon. But if you look at it in the research, it means different things to the different cultures geographically. So to the original German runes, it meant a lake or a lagoon, because geographically their country's very inland, there's very little coastline. I mean, obviously it wasn't Germany back then, but the area that they lived in had inland bodies of water. And the rune is about a kind of embryonic feeling of being wrapped up and being kept safe so that you can purify and rebirth. Now, in Norway, the rune came to mean waterfalls or sources of water, and water that cascades down to create fields, and the moment where water meets other bodies of water, fresh meeting salty. And then by the time it got through Frisia and into Britain in the Anglo-Saxon runes, there it began to mean sea or ocean, because it's a country surrounded by a sea and an ocean. So the runes have different energies geographically and also tribally. So we know this one, it's card 21, it's Logir. And then I'm just going to cover up the words, but I'm going to show you this symbol. It's very, very similar. So it's exactly the same, except this one has this little extra stick. So what does this mean? So the way I do it is, as I take the tarot decks, I focus on the image and I sit there and I put down tarot cards to try and explain what energies we're dealing with. And on this one, what came through was the vulva. Oh, you see, now I feel like I'm so unplanned with this, because I wasn't intending to do all this description. I was intending just to show you the card. I am writing an article to go with this, which will be out by the time I publish this, because I wanted you to be able to go and see how I'm working at this. So, come on, where are you hiding? Here she is. So, you can also see how it's a magical energy. Her staff that she's holding with her arm is the same shape. The only difference from Logir is her crow on the top is facing inwards. It's talking about an energy coming in towards you. Even though the symbol shows outwards, that's what it should be as Logir, being prepared to move emotionally through some embryo. And then as this moved on, we got the vulva. I got the card of exploration and purification, so to explore something as an emotion, but to purify something. I got the Seven of Pentacles, which was a harvest. I got the Two of Pentacles, which is to change something. And then I got Dove or Letter in the Lenormand deck, so bringing a new frequency in. I got the Ring, the Magpie, and the Magpie, they were showing me that the ring was being held by the Magpie, who has a reflection that's missing almost. And it was all about the hollow of the ring, the person that wore the ring being absent. And then I had the Death card, which is about death and rebirth. And then I had the Four of Wands to complete an energy, to complete the cycle. And then the King of Pentacles to come back out and be reborn. And so as I sat and channeled with it, it's kind of, they said to me, it's basically an emotional bleed. An emotional bleed. Now, because it's lagoon, or lagur, or logir, or lagaz, I needed to find an Old English or Saxon word matching the L, and I was led to partly lache, which was water, but also lesse, which is leche, which is, it's not very nice, I'm sorry, it's a leech. And the idea behind the energy of this symbol is when we have grief, or when we lose a loved one and we split up from someone, and there's that energetic bleeding that you just cannot do anything about. And that's what this is. It's the moment where the dam breaks and the energy pours out. And so that became a really beautiful card that I can then focus more energy on, write the notes on the back, and then later concentrate on the energy and find the words to best describe. But this is an emotional bleed. So what we're going to do today, here and now, in this video, is we're going to do one together and see what comes. So let me find a load of the blank ones. Where have I put all the blank ones? So I had this in order. Now that I've gone looking for the ones that I couldn't find, I haven't got the blank ones. So bear with me again. That's really weird. Have I put them? Oh, here's a set. So this one fascinates me. Then we also have so I've already done that one. It's got writing on the back. So let's see which one spirit. I need a drink of water. I need a bit of lagur or logir. So let's have, just keep moving them around until I'm drawn to one. I'm also excited because Rob's Libra readings part of Norse mythology, so I'm excited about that because that's my sign. Well, it's one of my signs. So apparently we're doing this circle with a line through it. Just have a look at it. What does it say to you immediately? Is it about piercing a hole, changing something? It reminds me very much for some reason of a kind of brooch, something that you put on you, an adornment. But let's look in to the cards and see what frequencies we get and then how we draw information from it. So there's lots of tiny little insects flying all around at the moment, and I know I've got a connection to flies. There's no flies on me, only there is often, but they're good for you. They come to eat away the negative things that you don't need anymore. But there's loads of flies zipping around the screen. So I've got two cards here. What does that make you think of? So we have communication, and we have, oh look, that's interesting. It's 36 and 37. So this is third eye vision, reclaim your mind, and communication. So immediately in my head, I'm receiving the idea of trust your third eye and communicate with faith all that you bring into your mind. I don't know if that's it yet. So next I'm going to throw a Moonology card. They were the double and a start deck that I have. There's one Moonology. Two Moonologies. Let's see what we have for those. The first one to come out was South Node. And it says, don't let your past hold you back. So it's kind of saying, don't hesitate when you get... You see, I wanted to say a gut instinct then. Maybe this is to do with gut instincts matching the third eye. Again, at the moment, we don't know. A new moon eclipse. Expect a powerful change. It's definitely something to do with trust. Trusting in your internal body. Trusting the messages. Maybe it's trusting the messages of your gut. But it's like a third eye vision that takes place through the connectiveness of spirit. Remember, your divine feminine consciousness, your intuition, descends through your crown chakra, and it goes past through your third eye all the way down and seats itself in the soul. So maybe it's about pulling the energy all the way into your sacral and trusting your gut instinct. You see, now that becomes a dilemma, because now I'm like, I should just trust my gut instinct and just say that's the message of it, but I'm going to push on. Normally at this point I would take my box of pencils and write on the back, but I'm going to do that afterwards. I also didn't ring my bell, and I want to ring it now before I get the tarot out. Because you love a bell. Oh, so soft. And then it got a little bit hard when I said that. It's like, don't you tell me what I am. Ah, don't you tell me what I am. I am going to write that down. Don't you tell me what I am. It's an interesting message. Because it's about having faith in your own instincts. So now we need my new favourite deck, Thoth and Lenormand. They're so wrong but so right together, because the images which Madame Lenormand developed accidentally through a card game they got put on the cards, but she was reading coffee grinds to all of Europe's most rich and wealthy people. When she died, she left £500,000 francs in her will, and her son, who'd slightly disowned her because she was a witch, he burnt all of her papers and took the money. How earth energy was that? Anyway, I've got to ring the bell again. I'm slipping out of focus. What would you like to tell me? What would you like to tell me? Princess of Swords. This is Ninlil. And if you haven't watched the Babylonian Gateway reading that Reem did, see, we're all in this. I've already talked about Rob, and now we've got Reem's reading. This is, for me, this card represents Ninlil. She who brings the heaven and the earth back into alignment to create a more comfortable space for humans. What else would you like to say, please? Deck. Oh, that's way too many. They're falling in blocks. I'll keep the first two that fell naturally. What have we got here? We've got Mars in Gemini, and we've got the Knight of Discs, which is the King of Discs. I don't know what that means yet. I have to allow that to filter in to the meaning of the cards. But what will happen is, we're going to get through this, and then I'm going to go away, I'm going to write up the article, and I will include what I think the solution is at the very end. And maybe I'll show us another card, and you can all go away and see what you think it is. Because it's about us all intuiting secret messages. Look, all the runes are written inside our DNA. They're ancient symbols. You'll see when you look at the post that I saw the Q one that became needle in a tree. And it was like, you have to do this rune next. Right, so we've got 3 final cards for this little set. The first one, it's walking past a blockage. And I'm instinctively wanting to say that the blockage is other people's thoughts. Now that's come up yesterday somehow, maybe in the reading. I can't remember. I need to watch that perhaps. Death and rebirth. There's something sacral about this. And we have letter, dove, bringing in new news. New news. So let me put them down together. Because what I now have to do is even when I go away from this, this is incomplete in that I'm now being given the energies, and then I have to go away and I have to research what sound phonetically this needs to be, and what kind of Old Saxon, Frisian, Old Norse language words will fit so that we have the correct frequency. So it's not a done deal. But there's something about this. There's something about this also that's reminding me of little hooks and eyes in sewing. Sewing has become a really important frequency because of the norns, because of the needle, because of the threads that weave our tapestries in life. And so I'm learning to pay attention. This is like the thing that you can hook onto. It's the thing you can grab. There's something about that. And we've got, obviously, we need to notice 2 cards of transformation. So we've got double the energy of something transforming. 2 halves make a whole, I'm hearing. So I need to write that down because that's come through. 2 halves make a whole. There's something about not being multifaceted, as in don't keep showing a different version of yourself to other people. Trust in your own truth. Pull your frequencies together. That's something. So they're showing me these 2 things separate and being pulled together by the cosmos, by you. And when you pull this energy together, the king's shield resonates your inner truth somehow, but it's got something to do with intuition. So I'm just going to write intuition down so that we don't forget that. Intuition, communication. This has got something to do with how big a blockage do you want victim mentality to be within your mind? And that's interesting because that turned up in Reem's reading, and they're also saying to me that I need to remember that was 23, I think. I couldn't see properly. It might have been 32, 23, 32, but there was a mirror. This is a mirror. This is a reflection. They were also saying that I've pulled in the energies of Cindy, Reem and Rob as well. So that's part of a gathering, a stitching, a pulling together. So I'm just going to write down gathering stitch. And that's when you do loose stitching and then you pull something together to create pleating. So I don't know yet what this means. I want you to understand how I'm doing this process and how deep it is. Right, so this news that comes in, this letter, this dove, this is peacefulness. This is giving me the frequency of 27-9. And there's something about, it's about writing the letter, obviously. Oh, they're saying it's about us writing this letter. Not a letter, the rune. It's about concentrating the desk, the quill, the feather. It's about writing reimagining, drawing from liquid fluid ink as if that was consciousness, dipping in the feather, air frequency, the feather, and that's what we're in now, and taking that and drawing through the fluidity of liquid the message that's hidden within this. I also want to say kilt, like it's the buckle on a kilt. So there might be that I need to look up something Scottish in that one. So that's what I do every day now. And I love it. So that's what we're going to do. Let me find you a rune. Let me find you a symbol. I kind of want to give you the one that I least like, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you one I really absolutely adore. Choice of two, choice of two, choice of two. I think I'm going to give you this one. So just write in the comments box, tell me what you think this might mean. I don't know what it means. I get the sense, because I've done one earlier, that there's another version of it like this, which is to do with, oh, I can't, hang on. That's like this, with just the rod and the bottom piece. It's like an upside down trident, but that's to do with sweeping, brooming, but I don't know anything else about it. They just said broom as soon as I saw it. But that could just be logical visualization. What do you see in this rune? I'm not saying any of us are true or right. I only can do this system and work my way through it. But it would be really fun if you all had a go at this. So that's the runes. That's been too long. That'll take about 8 hours to upload. But you'll get there in the end. It'll get there. It gives me time to write the article. And we can all have some fun. So, Wassail Beautiful People, it's time to reimagine the runes and pull them back into the room. So stupid.